Should you or should you not combine your finances with your spouse? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. If you are new to our channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. My name is Al.
And I'm Therese.
And we are the Joneses. Listen, today's video, we're going to talk about combining finances with your spouse. So we want to start off by saying that our way isn't the only way. We just found that it's the easiest way for us, something that we've been doing for a while. This is just something that we do. And that's what I like about personal finance. It's just that. It's personal. You do what works best for you and your household, you and your relationship, you and your spouse. Like I said, what we do and what we're talking about in our beliefs, we're not saying that it's the
our way or the highway.
It's our way or the highway. It's what we do, what works for us. And we also mentioned the word spouse because not being judgmental, but we advise not to combine finances with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You setting yourself up for big time headache, big time heartache, and just legal ramifications. Just try getting money back from a boyfriend or ex that you've helped pay off his student loans with. Good luck. So our thoughts when it comes to combining finances, that's something that we do. We've always combined our finances, our whole marriage, our whole 8.5 years we've been married. It's just something that we found to be the easiest, the cleanest, and it's just something that allow us together to hit our goals. It is said that when man and woman come together to marry, they become one. You can't become one in all areas of your marriage, but then are separate when it comes to your finances. We're believers, and the Bible also states that a house divided amongst himself cannot stand. So us dividing our finances, we're one, but we're saying, hey, we're divided in this area as it relates to finances. We're already setting ourselves up to be at odds with each other because one person has an idea of what it looks like or what it should look like, and then the other person has their own idea and their upbringing of what handling finances should look like. It can't be this is my house or our kids, our life, our marriage, but my money or her money. It has to be both of ours. We have to be on the same page when it comes to that. The same way we're just on the same page as it relates to all the other things in our marriage, from parenting to everything else. We have to be on the same page as it relates to money. Because as you know, as we stated before, that money issues, money problems are one of the number one causes of divorce in this country. So if you and your spouse get on one accord, on the same page with your money and combining your finances, then you will most likely have peace in that area. We're not going to promise it, but you'll most likely have peace in that area. And one might even ask, how do you even start this process of combining your finances?
The first thing that comes to my mind is trust. Money, finances, that's a big deal. It's a big part of our lives. We go to work every day. We work hard for our money. So trusting someone to have the same and equal power as you over your money that you've worked hard for is a big deal. Yeah. Even if it's your spouse, it's a big deal. Knowing that someone can go into your bank account, take the money out, and go spend it the way they want to. Right. It's a big deal.
Just a disclaimer, this might not even work for you. Just like she said, if you got issues like trust that are already there, we even recommend probably getting some professional counseling because, it might be more than a financial issue right now, and combining finances won't fix that. And I believe the very next thing you need to get rid of, or the very next thing you need to do to start this process, is to get rid of your ego. Just take those egos, throw them out the window, because you're always gonna run into a situation where one spouse makes more than the other one. She might make more than I do, or I might make more than she does, or she might even stay at home, which allows me to make money, or I might stay at home, which allows her to make money. But at that point, once you throw your egos out the window, we're both on the same playing field. We're both equal. I believe in an equal opportunity household. So we're both equal in that sense where
your money is our money.
Right.
My money is our money.
Right. It's our home, our household, our money. Some people split bills, married couples. You got married couples saying, hey, you take care of the lights and the cable and the water and gas, and I'll take care of the mortgage and the car payment. And at that moment, it's like, well, you got to think like, that's what roommates do. Are you roommates or are you married? Believe it or not, some people do that. And this type of attitude actually opens the door to a couple things. The first thing is that over time, one spouse will become or feel inferior or superior to the other one. So for instance, if I'm taking care of the mortgage and she's taking care of the lights and cable, over time, in the back of her mind, she might feel less inclined or less equal as it relates to decision making on what happens to and in our house, because I take care of the mortgage bill, or I take care of I pay the mortgage here. So it's like, well, she might not even like this house, but she might hesitate to say, hey, I want to move somewhere else. But, in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, I pay the mortgage, we stand here. The next thing that this opens the door to is room to point fingers at each other when something falls through the cracks. Like if she's supposed to be paying the cable or the lights, and the lights get cut off because whatever, now I'm pointing fingers at her like, man, you forgot to pay the light bill.
That's the stuff I'm talking about.
That's, she ain't holding up her end of the bargain. She ain't pulling her weight. And it's like, now I'm pointing a finger at her because the lights are off. Well, when you combine your finances and everything goes into one pot, and out of that pot comes everything else, we're both equally responsible for
keeping the lights on,
keeping the lights on, keeping the cable, all the necessities. So it's like, if something happens, there's nobody to blame but ourselves. We gotta look at each other in the mirror, look at each other in the face and say, what happened? And now there's, yeah. Yep. And there's nobody to blame. There's no argument, there's no fight now.
Yes.
Because she didn't hold up her end of the agreement. I didn't hold up my end of the agreement. Nobody's to blame for that. So the very next thing we believe that you need to do in order to make this work is to communicate.
Yes, and not only communicate, but to come into an agreement.
Yeah, and that's good. So, like I said, not even just communicate, but agree on what you just talked about.
Yes.
Right. So, because once you agree on something, now you can start putting, one foot in front of the other and start making progress, start making things happen. Communicating, talking about goals, financial goals.
Yes, because my goal can't be to save and his goal to spend, and then that leaves me putting money into our joint account to save and him taking money out to spend.
I don't be spending money like that.
There's a fight.
Right. Yeah, right. So like now we fight because we both have two different ideas of what's supposed to happen with this money in the account.
Yes.
But like I said, once we communicate, we talk about it, and then we agree that, hey, this is what's supposed to happen, then we both have an understanding of, I don't just go and take money out the account and go spend it on whatever.
Yes, you'll have a joint goal for the money in the joint account.
And one of the things that we've learned in, just in our 8.5 years of marriage is that nothing challenges your level of communication with your spouse the way that money does.
Yes.
Money makes the world go round. So and money is a touchy subject, and you're able to see where your communication level is when you start talking about money, because you start bringing up money, people's carotid arteries start pumping up, and eyebrows growing up, ready to fight.
So yes, it's very important to be on the same page with your financial goals before combining finances.
So the next thing you need to do in order to make this work is to simply just add up all the income in your household from all sources. I mean, all sources. That means if you got a side hustle or you make overtime on the side, that all comes to the table into consideration for how this household is ran. Because I know some people think that, hey, if I work overtime, if I got a side hustle, I make extra side money here, I'm keeping that because that's something I do on the side. It's like, no, bring all that to the table, because that's only going to help your household run better. And then after you add up all the income, the next thing you want to do is just simply subtract all your expenses that come out of your household. So her student loans now becomes your student loan, brother, man. There's no my credit card bill. It's both of our credit card bill now. And even just a side note, this is something that you should talk about. If you're not married, this is something you should talk about with your boyfriend or girlfriend or fiance, because you can be stepping into a marriage and the person you getting ready to marry might have like 6-figure student loan debt. And you walk into it and you guys are arguing all throughout your marriage because you didn't know about it.
Bamboozled.
Right. You've been tricked. You got tricked into picking up some debt that you wasn't expecting to have. And now there's so much tension now in that area of finance. And that just goes back to communication.
You gotta lay it all out there.
Just put it all on the table. Just sit down and talk about things y'all want to do in the future. Now, this is for people who are not married. Things you want to do in the future, things, your plans, your aspirations, your debts, all that stuff. Lay it all on the table so there's no secrets once you get there. And the next thing you want to do is, after that, you want to take whatever is left and then decide together what happens to the remaining? What happens to the extra money that's left over after you've paid all your bills?
And whatever is done with this extra should align with your financial goals, the joint financial goals that you came in agreement upon with each other.
Right.
So whether that be saving for a house, or saving for a car, saving for your emergency fund, retirement accounts, just whatever your financial goals include, this is what this extra money is for.
So like for us, we have multiple accounts. We have a main checking account where both of our payroll checks get direct deposited into this account, and then all of our bills get withdrawn from this account automatically, or auto pay, whatever you want to say it. And then we have two separate accounts for both of our boys where we make transfers systematically into those accounts to cover their expenses, whether it be clothes, shoes, haircuts, diapers, milk, whatever it is. And then we have, of course, savings accounts. We have our own separate individual spending accounts where we give ourselves allowance. I take allowances twice a month. However much my allowance is, I just transfer it into my separate spending account. And what this does, it allows me to spend money freely without having to, quote unquote, check in with her. It's money that I can spend on whatever I want to. A lot of couples get into fights because one spouse spends more money than the other one. You can combine your finances, you can combine your accounts, but if one person is spending more money than the other one, somebody's gonna be mad. Because she's constantly buying shoes and I'm trying to hey, I'm saving money.
It's the other way around.
And every time I look up, we got Amazon packages at the front door. Then that's a problem. But the way we have it set up to where we have separate accounts, which we both have access to still. I can log in and see how much money she has in her separate spending account, and she can vice versa. And I can even transfer money out of her account into my account if I wanted to. But we do that because, like I said, couples get into fights because somebody spends more money than the other one. With these separate accounts, I can go out and I could spend $150, $200, $300 on now and laters. If that's in my own account and I want to buy some banana now and laters, and I come in the house with a trash bag full of now and laters, she gonna look at me stupid.
Shake my head.
But we're not gonna get in a fight over it. That's something that most couples will get in a fight over their husband buying $300 worth of banana now and laters. But because we have the account set up that way, it's like, well, that's the money that you were given for allowance. So if you want to go spend it on now and laters, go ahead, Playboy. But
give me one,
right? But we're not gonna fight over it though. So and that's one of the things that I think that's one of the beautiful things about combining finances and doing it this way is that we cut down on arguments about money because we did it smartly. Not to brag, but we feel like we did it pretty smart.
Yeah, this is what works for us.
Right. Yeah.
It's been working for 8.5 years.
Yep.
This is how we are able to combine our finances without arguing. Before when we were thinking about combining finances, I was like, how are we going to track our spending to make sure that we're staying on budget? This is the key. Yeah. Having a separate spending account that we transfer what we budgeted to spend on whatever we want to spend.
Ooh, yeah. And that's the key. It's like what you budgeted. So if we budgeted, each one of us gets $100 a week for allowance. If that goes into my account and I want some shoes, well, as long as it fits in that threshold of what I have in my account for my allowance,
go ahead.
By all means, I can buy it. So, and then I don't have to ask her, hey, can I go buy these shoes? But that's a whole nother thing too, though. There are times where we would use the account, where most of the money is in from our checkings account, but we have an agreement. We've had a discussion about it where prior to purchasing it, it's like, hey,
don't call me afterwards.
Like, hey, I just bought a $7,000 TV.
Take it back.
So it's like we had a discussion like, hey, if you're gonna spend over X amount of dollars, like call me first,
Yes.
Let me know what's going on.
I know with us, if we're making any purchases outside of our budget and it's hitting our joint account, we at least shoot a text to each other.
Yeah, like we've talked about
even
it.
if it is a $5 cheeseburger.
Yeah,
this is not on
a
budget sheet, and I'm about to hit our joint account.
Yeah.
I send them a text message.
Yeah.
So it's like these open lines of communication is what helps us.
That happens.
Yes.
There are times I'm at work or whatever.
You forget your card at home.
You forget your own card at home or whatever. Say, hey, I'm about to go to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm about to get some donuts and some coffee. and I don't have my card, so I'm gonna buy it out of the.
Just letting you know.
Just letting you know, you know.
Yeah.
And it's small enough to where it's not a big problem. But hey, I left my card at home, and I'm about to go and buy a $8,000 scooter.
Get off my phone.
we might have a problem. So just talk about it. That's the main thing is communication.
Yeah, and that helps keep each other accountable.
Yeah,
it's like, listen, you done forgot your card 10 days in a row. You throwing off the budget.
Right. So,
tomorrow you just gonna be hungry.
Yeah. So just communicate, have those lines of communication open, and then have that understanding. You know, so. And that like I said, I feel like that's the key to making this whole thing work, of combining your finances. So like we said, we feel like the main things in order to make this happen is that you need, one, communication. Mm-hmm. You know, you need to be on the same page of what your goals are and what this looks like for the both of you. Mm-hmm. And then you also need trust. Yes. You have to be able to trust one another with
you're going to stick to the goals.
Right, you're going to stick to the goals, and you're going to stick to the budget. So the last thing you need to do is just get rid of your ego. Take those egos, throw them out the door, throw them out the window. And then we believe that you'll be on the right track and the right path to combining your finances and winning with your money.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. See y'all next week. Peace.